Hello, I'm Jeff Jackson with Whirly Media Productions, and this is Whirlyball 101. In this video, we're talking about position basics. Whirlyball is a game about fluidity, so the position you're in can and will change from moment to moment depending on where you find yourself on the court in relation to everyone else. So the most important thing is learning to recognize the situation and adapt quickly. There are a few different ways each position is referred to. With 5 players to a team, there are numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With 1 being the player furthest on your offensive side of the court, and 5 being the player furthest on your defensive side of the court. Let's start at 1. The 1 position is also known as the floater or cherry picker, or just cherry. The 1's job is to stay as deep as possible on offense and set up the offensive play. Based on the situation, they will set picks to gain a numbers advantage against the opposing goalie, set a screen so a teammate can shoot over them, or in some cases, attempt to shoot one-on-one over the opposing goalie, though in most cases, this should be more rare. Some teams will have a dedicated player to be their cherry picker for most or even all plays, and other teams will be more fluid with it, simply allowing whoever happens to be deepest on offense when the ball turns over to the other team stay as their number 1 for the next plays. This is up for every team to determine, as both approaches are valid. The 2 and the 3 are mostly interchangeable with one another as Whirlyball's midfielders. Their job is mostly to shoot on offense and transition back to defense. There's a number of strategies and scenarios for going about this, each of which could be the subject of their own video, but the generally accepted thinking is that you work to take one good shot on offense and get back onto defense as soon as possible, not really concerning yourself with the possibility for an offensive rebound. Situational awareness and a quick reaction time are key for this. We're going to skip 4 and come back to it after talking about the 5. 5 is the goalie. You would think this goes without saying, but the goalie must first and foremost stay between the opposing team's cherry picker and the goal. The goalie anchors the defense from the middle and is responsible for a hefty amount of the defensive communication regarding the other defenders' positioning. Much like the 1, some teams will have a primary goalie who they try to keep back in that position for most or all possessions, and others will have whoever happens to be the deepest in their defensive side of the court when they gain possession stay back to play goalie for that play. It depends on the dynamic of the team. Now returning to the 4 position, known as the rover or the second defender, this position is often thought of as the hardest position in the game with the widest variety of positional responsibilities. Again, we could and probably will make an entire video on how to play the 4th position, as interpretation on how best to play this position can vary. But, from my perspective, the 4's primary responsibility is to protect their goalie. Whether that is playing right next to the goalie if they need that kind of help, right on top of the other team's 1 to cut off any passes to them, or playing farther out to set a high wall, the 4's job is defense. Secondarily, the 4 can rotate forward into offense, but if the 2 or the 3 doesn't rotate back to effectively become the 4 themselves, the goalie may be left unprotected against a fast break by the other team. There is much more nuance to every position, but we may have to create Whirlyball 201 to delve into that.